One day, you're totally fine. You're absolutely living the dream. And the next, your body is in total chaos. Does this sound like you? What on earth is going on? Hot flashes at night, brain fog in the morning, energy crashes in the afternoon. It all feels so random, but often there is actually a hidden pattern. So today I'm going to show you how to decode what's really going on so that you could stop guessing and start managing your symptoms. And if this sounds familiar, hit subscribe. I break this down every week. So just why do symptoms feel so random? The bottom line is it's your hormone fluctuations. You see, they are the root cause. Our hormones need to be balanced. There are 4 hormone categories that work together: estrogen along with progesterone, insulin, thyroid, and cortisol. The levels of each of these 4 hormones impacts the levels of the other 3 because they need to be in balance with each other. And these shifts trigger your symptoms, but not always in obvious ways. You see, sometimes it's a subtle build-up over time because our lifestyle is putting one hormone out of balance, and then the symptoms are a knock-on effect of the misbalance of the other hormones. It can be really useful to have a basic understanding of the role of each hormone type. Cortisol is your stress hormone. That's what happens when you're stressed, your cortisol levels go up. Insulin determines fat storage, your thyroid regulates your metabolism, and estrogen and progesterone are our menstrual hormones. Traditional symptom tracking often just doesn't work, and that's because most women focus on the symptoms themselves, and what they're not doing is looking at what triggers the hot flash or the insomnia. And the trick is to track the patterns, not just the symptoms. So how do I do that, you're asking? Well, let's break it down into 3 easy tasks. The first one is timing. When do your symptoms start? Is it in the morning, in the evening, or is it after meals? What about your triggers? Is it stress? Is it food? Sometimes for people it can be their sleep patterns, especially if you work shifts. What happens before a symptom appears? And thirdly, you also need to look at the intensity and the duration. Are they mild? Are they moderate? Or are your symptoms really severe? And does it change with certain habits? One client thought her symptoms were really random, but when we track them, we realise that it basically boiled down to her enjoying a relaxing glass of wine in the evening because that was triggering the night sweats. So you see, symptoms can be made worse by everyday actions that we always took for granted. For example, the humble cookie, the after-dinner dessert, or the sweet treat we used to enjoy after a difficult day. We all know about the sugar crash, and that quite frankly, it would take a very brave person to remove a sweet treat from a menopausal woman. But here's the thing. If I can explain to you how the sweet treat affects your hormones and how bad you're feeling today, maybe, just maybe, you'll see a pattern and then you can start to break it. Remember, I told you earlier how insulin determines fat storage. Well, that's just the start of a whole cycle of issues. So, listen up. You all know that the sweet treat contains sugar. Okay, so sugar, or its chemical name, sucrose, is made up of glucose and fructose, and they're both building blocks of carbohydrates. Now, sucrose is 50-50 glucose and fructose. And as soon as you eat that delicious cookie, the sweet taste, that is the start of digestion of the glucose. It's really easily and quickly digested and absorbed into your body, which is where it needs to be so it can be used for energy. So, at the beginning of digestion, this is where glucose and fructose part company. The fructose goes straight to your liver to be converted into fat for emergency use. Now, The glucose that's in the blood means that there's more glucose in the blood, and that causes insulin to be released. And insulin is like a key to the cells of our body. It opens up the cell to let the glucose in, and glucose can then give the cell energy. Now, we've eaten our cookie and then real life hits. You take your pick. You choose from work phones tells you there's an absolute disaster at work and you've got to go in. Your parents need help, kids sick, they're late, they've forgotten something, they've forgotten their homework. The partner has a flat tire, dog's been sick. It's stress. Well, this is where cortisol comes to rescue you. You see, it gives you a ton of adrenaline by releasing that stored fat that we had and using any spare blood glucose. Great. You are Superwoman again for the 10th time this week. But your poor adrenal glands, they have been super busy creating all that lovely cortisol that keeps you going. But that meant it couldn't make estrogen. Okay, think cooking and I was trying to iron at the same time. It's a combination that just isn't going to work. And it's the same for your hormone pathways. Tough choices get made. And the result is your estrogen levels are just dropped. And major symptoms of this are low libido, brain fog, and anxiety. And all you did was enjoy a cookie, but it was your emergency stress mode that manifested the increase in the symptoms. So you see, symptoms aren't random, there's a pattern. And tracking your body's responses helps you regain control. But you have to be mindful of unexpected triggers. So, if you want to start decoding your symptoms right away, I've put together a simple symptom tracker to help you pinpoint what's triggering your worst days. You can grow it for free, just check the link in the description. And if you're looking for a delicious menopause-friendly recipe, I've been making some mushrooms on toast as a healthy snack. It's packed with fibre and with vitamin D. If you want to check out my recipe, check it out here. See you soon.